The Normandy invasion, one of the most pivotal moments of World War II, saw Allied forces launching a massive and meticulously planned assault on the beaches of Normandy. This operation ultimately led to the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi control. But what led to Germany's failure in this crucial battle? The reasons behind the German defeat are multifaceted, involving brilliant Allied deception tactics, strategic missteps by the German command, and overwhelming Allied air and naval superiority. As the tides of war shifted, the meticulous planning and execution by the Allies exposed the vulnerabilities and errors within the German defenses, setting the stage for a decisive turning point in the conflict. The Allied forces employed an intricate and highly effective deception strategy known as Operation Bodyguard to mislead the German military about the location and timing of the invasion. The cornerstone of this plan was Operation Fortitude, which aimed to create the illusion that the primary invasion would occur at Pas-de-Calais, the narrowest point between Britain and France, instead of Normandy. To achieve this, the Allies constructed a phantom army complete with fake tanks, planes, and radio traffic to simulate an active military force in southeast England. Double agents, such as Juan Pujol Garcia, known by the code name Garbo, played a crucial role by feeding the Germans a mix of accurate and misleading information, further cementing the deception. The success of Operation Bodyguard meant that when the Normandy invasion began, a significant portion of the German forces remained stationed at Pas-de-Calais, waiting for an attack that never came. This misallocation of resources was pivotal in allowing the Allies to establish a beachhead and build momentum without facing the full strength of the German defenses. The German command structure during World War II was characterized by a high degree of centralization, with Adolf Hitler exercising direct control over many strategic decisions. This centralization often led to significant delays and inefficiencies, particularly in the context of rapid, fluid battlefield situations like those at Normandy. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, charged with defending the French coast, advocated for a strategy of immediate and forceful counterattacks using panzer divisions positioned close to the front lines. However, these divisions were held in reserve and required Hitler's explicit authorization to be deployed. As a result, crucial hours and even days were lost in securing permission to use these reserves. Furthermore, the German High Command was plagued by internal disagreements and conflicting strategies. Rommel's push for strong coastal defenses clashed with General Good von Rundstedt's preference for a more flexible, central reserve strategy. This discord prevented a unified and effective defensive strategy, ultimately weakening the German response to the Allied invasion. By the time of the Normandy invasion, the Allies had established overwhelming air and naval superiority, which played a critical role in the success of the operation. Allied air forces dominated the skies over France, significantly disrupting German supply lines and preventing reinforcements from reaching the front lines. German aircraft were outnumbered and technologically outmatched, making it nearly impossible for them to challenge Allied air dominance. This air superiority allowed the Allies to conduct extensive reconnaissance, provide close air support to ground troops, and execute strategic bombing campaigns against key German positions and infrastructure. On the naval front, the Allied fleet, comprising hundreds of warships and landing craft, provided crucial fire support during the initial landings. The pre-invasion bombardment, although not entirely effective in neutralizing German defenses, inflicted substantial damage and sowed chaos among the defenders. The naval presence also ensured a steady flow of supplies and reinforcements to the beachheads, which was vital for sustaining the invasion and pushing inland. Despite extensive fortifications along the French coast, the German defenses at Normandy were not as formidable as anticipated. While the Atlantic Wall, a series of bunkers, gun emplacements, and obstacles, was designed to repel an Allied invasion, many of these defenses were incomplete or inadequately manned by the time of the attack. Rommel had focused on enhancing these defenses, placing beach obstacles intended to destroy landing craft and delay troop advances. However, many of these obstacles were ineffective due to the tides or were quickly neutralized by Allied engineers. Furthermore, the static nature of the fortifications made them vulnerable to concentrated Allied attacks. The Germans also failed to anticipate the scale and coordination of the Allied assault, which combined paratroopers, amphibious landings, and specialized armored vehicles to overcome obstacles and fortifications. The underestimation of the Allies' ability to penetrate these defenses contributed significantly to the failure to hold the beaches. The Allies introduced several technological and tactical innovations that played a decisive role in the success of the Normandy invasion. Among these were specialized armored vehicles known as Hobart's Funnies, named after Major General Percy Hobart. These vehicles included amphibious tanks that could swim ashore, mine-clearing tanks equipped with flails to detonate mines, and bridge-laying tanks that could span obstacles and allow infantry and vehicles to advance. These innovations were critical in overcoming the beach defenses and establishing a secure foothold. Additionally, the use of paratroopers and glider-borne infantry to capture key bridges, crossroads, and other strategic points behind enemy lines created confusion and disrupted German communications and reinforcements. The deployment of these airborne forces in the early hours of the invasion ensured that the beach landings were supported and that the Germans were fighting on multiple fronts, reducing their ability to mount a coordinated defense. The success of the Normandy invasion was in large part due to the meticulous planning and coordination among the Allied forces. The operation, known as Operation Overlord, was a massive logistical effort involving land, sea, and air forces from multiple Allied nations, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and various other nations. The Allies worked together to synchronize their efforts, ensuring that each component of the invasion was supported by the others. The planning included detailed reconnaissance of the landing sites, the establishment of artificial harbors to facilitate the rapid unloading of supplies and reinforcements, and the laying of pipelines to supply fuel. This level of coordination was unprecedented and essential for maintaining the momentum of the invasion. The ability to rapidly deploy reinforcements and sustain the invasion force was crucial in overcoming German counterattacks and securing a foothold in Normandy. The Germans had placed great faith in the Atlantic Wall, a series of fortifications along the western coast of Europe, believing it to be impregnable and capable of stopping any Allied invasion. This overconfidence led to a certain level of complacency and inadequate preparations for a sustained defense once the initial beach landings were overcome. The Atlantic Wall was extensive but spread thinly along the coast, with many sections incomplete or insufficiently manned. Rommel had attempted to improve these defenses by placing additional obstacles and reinforcing key positions, but these efforts were limited by time, resources, and the vast area to be defended. The Germans also underestimated the Allies' ability to coordinate such a large-scale amphibious assault, resulting in a lack of depth in their defensive strategy. Once the Allies breached the coastal defenses, the Germans were ill-prepared to mount an effective counter-offensive, contributing significantly to the overall failure at Normandy. The timing of the Normandy invasion was carefully chosen to maximize the Allies' advantages and catch the Germans off guard. The Allies needed a combination of favorable moon phases, tides, and weather to ensure the success of the amphibious landings and airborne operations. The poor weather in the days leading up to the invasion led the Germans to believe that an invasion was unlikely during that period, resulting in a reduction in their alertness and readiness. Key German commanders, including Rommel, were away from their posts, further exacerbating the lack of preparedness. The decision to proceed on June 6, despite the challenging conditions, caught the Germans by surprise and allowed the Allies to achieve strategic and tactical surprise. The element of surprise, combined with the optimal conditions for the landings, played a crucial role in the success of the invasion. The Germans made several strategic miscalculations that contributed to their failure at Normandy. One of the most significant errors was the underestimation of the Allies' capability to launch and sustain such a large-scale invasion. The German High Command, influenced by the success of Allied deception efforts, remained convinced that the main invasion would occur at Pas-de-Calais, leading to the concentration of their best troops and resources away from Normandy. This misjudgment meant that when the actual invasion took place, the defenses at Normandy were not as robust as they needed to be. Additionally, the Germans failed to recognize the importance of quickly and decisively countering the invasion. The delayed deployment of panzer divisions and the lack of coordinated counterattacks allowed the Allies to consolidate their beachhead and push inland. The German strategic errors, combined with the effective Allied planning and execution, sealed the fate of the Normandy campaign. Germany's failure at Normandy was the result of a complex interplay of Allied strategic brilliance and German strategic errors. The Allies' success in deception operations, air and naval dominance, technological innovations, and effective coordination overwhelmed the German defenses. On the other hand, the Germans' rigid command structure, overestimation of their fortifications, and strategic miscalculations contributed to their inability to repel the invasion. The Normandy invasion was a turning point in World War II, paving the way for the liberation of Western Europe and the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany. The lessons learned from this operation continue to influence military strategy and operations to this day.